Welcome to the Glazov gang. This is Nonie Darwish. I'm filling in for Jamie Glazov. Today we have three wonderful guests, great political analysts extraordinaire. Shari Goodman, and she is the leader of the Act for America chapter in Calabasas. And Paul Croshaw, he's a filmmaker, and he did the new movie, Baseball, Dennis, and the French. And I suggest we all watch that. It's terrific. And Tommi Trudeau, he's a filmmaker and music video maker, and he's a great political analyst as well.
Big fan of Nonie Darwish, too. President of the Nonie Darwish fan club.
Oh. Anyway, we'll start today's first topic. We have three topics. And the first topic is about this tragedy that we had at the school in Connecticut. I really was, like everybody, was just totally stunned and depressed over this story. And I couldn't even watch the news. But after I've thought about it deeply, I've discovered that our children in America have been pressured beyond their age in every aspect of life, whether it's school, the pop culture, whether it's cartoons. They've been pressured with adult issues that is far beyond their age group. I come from the Middle East, and I've seen the indoctrination of Arab children as a child. I suffered from it. I grew up in Gaza elementary schools where we were indoctrinated to hate, to do the agenda of jihad.
Yeah, I've seen clips of Sesame Street's POL style, and it's absolutely incredible. I mean, the Nazis never did anything even close to something like this.
Not even close.
I mean, little jihadists learning their ABCs.
Exactly, and that's what I grew up with. And believe it or not, if you grow up with that kind of indoctrination, it can feel and sound normal. So you take it as normal.
Sure.
I only felt it was not normal when I moved to America. And I am seeing some similarities, because every society has a tendency to want to indoctrinate their children somewhere at different levels. And I think that American kids in schools are subjected to the environmental agenda, the gay agenda, the sexual identity agenda, the feminist agenda, environmental, animal rights agenda, racism agenda, and they are filled with guilt. I remember my kids when they were in high school, they came home one day and they were telling me there is an essay that the teacher asked them to do about suicide. And so I feel that American kids are being subjected to things that are beyond their age. And this young man who did this shooting and many other shootings is a symptom of a cry for help by American kids. And I would like to start by asking you, Tommi, what do you think? What do you think about this phenomena of just shooting random people in malls, in schools, in what's going on?
Well, so when this tragedy occurred in Connecticut, at first I was shocked, and then I was heartbroken, and then I was guilty, convicted in myself, because I am in the entertainment industry. And you know what? Gun control did not come once to my mind. You know what came to my mind? Being in the entertainment industry and how our society relishes, bathes themselves and ourselves, glorifies violence. It's everywhere. It permeates everything. Did you know and in particularly, it convicts me because I am in the entertainment industry. One night of television, primetime television, you will see 27 very violent acts, everything from stabbings to rapes to various crimes, and you will see at least 3 heinous murders Every night. Our kids watch this.
Absolutely.
I remember the last gangster rap video I was ever, I just couldn't do it anymore. The last gangster rap video I ever produced, the guy's lyrics was, "This is just one of many murders I intend to commit." And the chorus that they had there, "One of many murders he intends to commit," relishing in murder. And our kids, they watch TV. They see every night heinous crimes, vicious murders. They listen to music over and over and over again, in particularly gangster rap, which tells you if someone's in your neighborhood and you don't like them or you don't think they belong there, you get your gun and you empty the clip at them.
And especially this kind of violence, it affects more the vulnerable kids, the kids who go home. There is no parent. They watch TV. They sit to watch TV for hours, and there's no supervision, and that's whom they affect the most.
And you know what? When they're not watching TV, seeing violence permeating, just being inundated with violence, or listening to music such as gangster rap, they are playing video games in which you're in a virtual world, and what are you doing? Killing human beings. Before this horrible tragedy in Connecticut, there was also another mass shooting. I forget where it was, but the young man ran through the mall, randomly shooting with an assault rifle at people. Exactly like a video game.
Paul, what do you think? Any other?
Yeah, I think there's another ingredient to what Tommy's saying, is that the lack of holiness or lack of God, or the vulnerable people in our society that can eat this stuff up. I remember when the movie in the 70s came out, Shaft, right? Shaft. The very next week, guys in the street were wearing the big pimp hats, the outrageous suits, and the big Cadillacs. They really weren't wearing that stuff a week before the movie. The media has a tremendous amount of impact on culture. But a kid who has some kind of faith in the home, understands right and wrong, feels that there's a guy looking over him, watching his moves and things, or what he's up to. It helps combat that stuff. In a lot of the video games, you are fighting bad guys. But maybe some you're not. But the lyrics are really atrocious. But it's everything else. It's the sex. It's the blatant sex on a prime time, hour-long drama, right? A drama. I just can't believe it. I can't believe. And it's the lack of holiness from those young men writing those lyrics. It's a lack of holiness to the people who watch it, who may be influenced by it, or the neighbor who's afraid to say something because they don't want their neighbor to get mad at them if their son is acting up, and they have to reciprocate. Anyway. So I don't care how many computers you put into a classroom. To me, it all goes back to, do you have holiness in your life? Do you elevate your life or not?
And for kids who don't have the family structure that inspires them with taking them to church, and it gives them the moral.
I got teenage kids.
There are so many kids in America who don't have this kind of family.
No.
And those are the most vulnerable.
I got teenage kids, and they come, I would say every other day with something their school's doing, and we kind of giggle, and they say, "Well, why is this wrong, Dad?" "Well, I know it's not right." And I have to explain it to them. And they go, "Oh, yeah, okay. So everybody, the left just wants to do good, and they don't understand that their way of doing good can cause a lot of problems.
A lot of harm.
Yeah, and because there's no wisdom, there's no understanding what America's about.
Yeah. Shari, what do you think? How did this horrific story, impact you, and how can you explain it?
Well, I was heartbroken. I would stare at the TV, and the tears. I mean, it was just, it was unbearable. It's unbearable pain, and as it should be. I've watched this country descend for the last few decades, and I think that we have collectively lost our spirituality, and I don't think it's an accident. I think it was by design. I came across the Communist Manifesto recently, and if you look at the Communist Manifesto, and there's about 45 goals, most of the goals in there they've achieved, and a number of the goals have been to remove the church, to remove God from everyday life, to create a disrespect for the sanctity of life, to basically create a godless, a godless society. And without a higher being, you have moral relativism. And so therefore there is a lack of respect for life. And it's when you have that lack of respect and you don't have God in your life, it's easy for our culture, through music, through entertainment, through the media, to influence our young people, our impressionable young people. And young people tend to emulate what they see on television or within the movies. But again, I think this is not an accident. I do believe it was by design. And I think we as a country need to take back our country. And while we're looking at the gun lobby and we're looking at the National Rifle Association by the media, I think what we need to be doing is we need to be looking at Hollywood, at the entertainment industry, and we need to say to them, you need to, what's the word, self-censor yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just a 1 minute each person. There was an article that I hope you checked. It's called Sharia Doesn't Pose a Threat. It was written by Oliver Thomas. He believes that Sharia doesn't pose a threat. And I come from a country that Egypt, and it is suffering, has been suffering for 1400 years from Sharia, and it has eroded its glory days of Egyptian history, and it's still suffering from Sharia. 1 minute each. What do you think about this man who's Oliver Thomas, who doesn't think Sharia is a threat?
Well, you know what? I mean, there are so many people who just don't have a clue, you know, and really I don't even consider, you know, I just don't even want to think about people who are clueless like that. And but what I would like to say about this tragedy in Connecticut to my colleagues that I work with in the entertainment industry is, in a way, we created this killer. We desensitized him to violence. We taught him that violence is entertainment. Murdering people is fun. And from the beginning of his infancy all the way to the age he was when he committed this act, he was bathed in, he was permeated, he was super saturated with violence. And folks in the entertainment industry, we did that. We did it.
Unfortunately, his mother wanted to befriend him and be his buddy by taking him shooting and bringing assault weapons to the home when she knew very well that he's not a well person.
Yeah, he has issues. Yeah,
and that was really a big error on her part. Yeah. I feel very bad for her. But what do you think about the people who think Sharia is not a threat in America?
Well, I read the article, and first thing that came to my mind is it sounds like it was written by a 19-year-old sophomore in college.
Exactly.
Very simplistic. And he's a Baptist minister, it claims. Yeah. But he's from the left side. And he's using examples and like, they didn't. The founding fathers or the earlier ones wouldn't let Jews come off a boat, and for several days or whatever. They didn't want them to come on in. But he doesn't say that George Washington, after his inaugural address, went over to the temple to welcome the Jews and how y'all doing, and he and Franklin and Jefferson wanted the seal of the United States to depict the Jews leaving Egypt, because as America left Europe, they left Egypt. The similarities, and so our love for the Jews is, it's unquestionable. So these little examples and things he put in his article are just absolutely silly. And Sharia is just, it's unconstitutional.
It's unconstitutional, and it tears down any society that has Sharia.
Which a lot of people are becoming. A lot of people in Iran and other countries are becoming Christian just because they look. What happened? How come we're not? We're Muslim. We're supposed to have everything. Yeah. But we can't even make a bicycle.
Yeah.
Why?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so maybe Christianity is where it's at.
Yeah, absolutely. Shari, what do you think?
Well, I think it was a silly statement.
Absolutely.
It's
irresponsible.
It was an irresponsible statement, and it was an ignorant statement.
Yeah. Thank you all, and we're going to conclude our show tonight, and we'll continue the show tomorrow.